So we're approaching what I call the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house here off the 101. Boat Chill is roughly about 3/4 mile deep, if you will, to my Ruck to Forks, Washington, which is about 5 miles in distance. So 10 miles round trip. But I've been very lucky about people picking me up and giving me a ride. So, but look at that. Hold on, take my sunglasses off. Yeah, I'll get a little closer. Car passing here in a second. Yeah. If that doesn't say wrong turn, I don't know what does. Appears to be abandoned, you know. It's got an address and everything. I think somebody probably owns it and just hasn't done anything with it. But yeah, it's always sketchy walking by it at night, that's for sure. So yeah. If you want to go get murdered, it's kind of like the halfway point, about 2.5 miles deep. Walking kind of slow today, so I don't know, 43 minutes, that's alright. 40 minutes would be better, but it's this custom lumber yard. Because if you don't know, Forks, Washington, besides being where all the Twilight films were made, it's considered the lumber capital of the world, or the timber industry, if you will. So yeah, I figure, stand by. Figure if I ever make custom drums or need some good lumber, you know, for a house, because I decided I'm probably gonna have a house out here eventually, like a farm or something like that. I know where I'll be getting my wood. You know, custom lumber yard here. So anyway, all right. So I'm heading into Forks today. This is the mile marker 190. Boat Chill's at mile marker 186. So it's roughly about 4.5 miles to 5 miles, depending upon where you're going to get into town. So I'm gonna cut this together briefly because I'm not quite at the core portions of Forks yet, but just thought I'd point that out first. All right, next key sign I should point out is the rest area, which is a mile ahead, and the Forks Transit Center. So for me personally, when I've had run errands, you know, to go to, say, Port Angeles or Squim, stand by, a car coming. There's the Calum Transit System, or bus system. I catch the 14 to Port Angeles, and then the 30 to Squim. And so I can get around pretty easily without having to walk everywhere. Stand by, car coming. Yeah, so for that matter, to get back to the state park, there's 3 timetables, if you will, with the Jefferson Transit System that run throughout the day. It's very limited service, but you got the 7 o'clock, the 11:10, and the 2:40. Cool thing about Jefferson Transit is free, so if I'm in town, I don't feel like walking back for whatever reason, you know, or if I got a bunch of stuff in my hands, then I can catch that. So either way, oh yeah, apparently UW does a lot of research and stuff out here, so it's kind of cool. Anyways, I'll cut this for now. As you see, here's the Forks Airport. It's just a small, you know, civilian-ish, you know, aircraft enthusiast type airport. It's pretty cool. But either way, as you see ahead here, got the Forks Washington Zoo sign. And then in this complex here, the first building is the Lumberjack Museum, which is currently closed because of COVID. And I'm gonna come back on my way back. I'm gonna do a more detailed close-up of everything on this one. But yeah, so the second building is the Visitor Center, Information Center, or whatever. And then underneath that A-frame is the Lumberjack Memorial, or what have you, or Forestry Workers Memorial. So that's pretty legit, you know, because as I mentioned before, Forks is considered the timber capital of the world, or at least one point it was. So cruise by here real fast. Still recording. Still recording. Yep. Forks Timber Museum. couple sweet rides out there, you know. Seem to be posted up there all the time. You know, Chevy and something else. Jimmy, I think. Yeah. So yeah, Timber Museum. And all that. Yeah. The Forest Loggers Memorial, that's what that is. So on my way back, I'll cruise by here a little bit more detailed, like get it close up and everything, but cut this off for now. I'm approaching, we're almost getting closer to the thoroughfare, or my destination personally, which is the Forks Outfitters, which is basically a grocery store connected to an Ace Hardware, and that Ace Hardware actually sells sporting goods and stuff like that too. So you got a burger joint over here, which I haven't tried yet, but it seems legit. What's funny though, hold on, let these cars pass. And it's somewhat ironic because while I've been out here, there's been all these little signs and stuff that have been popping up that relate to my past, if you will. So no different than this sign for Mill Creek, all right? As some of you know, I went to Jackson High School in Mill Creek. And so, yeah, this is an actual creek, though not a city. So, yeah, there you go. Mill Creek, I'll zoom in on it real quick. All right, I'll cut it for now. Next key sign we're coming up on is the City of Forks population. Get this. 3,580 people, all right? See, that's what I love about this town. It's very small. Everyone's super humble and kind. And just to reiterate, I can't count. I mean, I lost count now at this point, but at least 14 or 15 times. I've been walking into town, and somebody just, without putting my thumb out, like hitchhiking style, if you will, I've had people, you know, just pull off the side of the road and ask me if, hey, do you need a ride? What's going on, you know? And because of that, I've actually gotten to know a couple locals. This one dude in particular named Billy, he understood what I meant by vinyl welding and what have you, because he used to make, inflatable rafts. So he knew all about the Forester machine, the tools that I used when I would make banners for Midnight Oil. Then, this other gentleman who lives across the street from Boca Chica State Park off of Undy Road, amongst about 4 or 5 other people, 2 of which I've gotten rides from too. It's just really, I just love this town. Now, the way George put it to me is that they're about 20 years in the past, all right? Back before the internet boom, and I guess technically 20 years ago would be about 2000 when internet boom. I guess more specifically the smartphone boom, if you will, all right? Back when people actually paid attention, you know, to the situations at hand around them, and, you know, weren't just like stuck in their phones, if you will. You get what I mean. You know, it has really affected our society, in my opinion. So that's just my opinion, though, right? Like I always say, my opinions are my opinions. You don't have to agree with them, but maybe take some of the things I say and maybe think about it, you know, or apply it to your own beliefs, you know. So whatever. Either way, I'm almost to my destination now. So this is the Forks Outfitters across the street here. This is generally where I come to for food. It's really, since I basically don't pay any rent anymore, my only expenditures are basically on food items, if you will. And, you know, occasional can of Chosky, you know, my good old Grizzle Wintergreen. Anyways, I'm trying to wean myself off all that, though, you know, because I have to be at the Piers Forum myself if I want to be extremely successful in this pipeline. Am I right? Am I right? So, but, you know, it's nice when you're out here all by yourself having a couple creature comforts, if you will, and that variety, you know. So, anyway, here we are. Here I'll approach the front of the house, so to speak. And, yeah, so I'm in town right now just to return this iPhone power cable, which helped me out for a moment, but then I figured out what was wrong with my other cable. So, I mean, that's $10 that, you know, I'd rather not waste. So, So yeah, here's the grocery store. Let's cruise by the Ace Hardware too. All right, stand by. Still recording, cool. Yeah. But hey, look at the sun today. See, that's one thing I noticed is because of the storm that we had over the past couple days. I don't know what it did, but it evaporated all the smoke and smog and all that jazz. Yeah, hopefully it helped out the firefighters over in Eastern Washington clear up the storm. Then again, I've really been keep very abreast of news and everything, all that. So I don't know what the situation is right. So yeah, this is the grocery store. Thrift Away. What's cool is they're both connected, so you can get your stuff at the hardware store, cross over, get your groceries, and pay on this side, or vice versa, you know. So yeah. And I'll kind of point out the general direction of where. So on the right hand side, where my knife hand's pointing, is the transfer center. So, and then the laundromat's like right over there too. So. All right, there, whoever's watching this, we are at the Forks Loggers Memorial. Here's the sign. Let's go up to what this says. This memorial was built with money, labor, and materials donated by the people of the Western Olympic Peninsula. All right. So, I've recorded this clip before for several other individuals in my life, like my mom, but I have the opportunity, might as well do it again with my iPhone this time. So, yeah, here's isn't that amazing? Somebody had to do that, you know, they carved that all by hand, if you will, you know. So, look at that, it's all I got. So, let's go in and see what it says. Stand by. All right. So, in honor of those who first entered the virgin forests and the new mills of the western United States to forge the heritage of the forest products industry, in tribute to those who perished there in providing the materials for the backbone of America's greatness, her homes, her offices, and her factories. In gratitude to those working there now, Vera Pohl. Alright, so essentially it's a memorial for all those passed away due to related causes. So looks like we got so many passed away just recently, 2019. You know, so it looks like it, you know, alright, cool. In memory of timber industry workers, work-related. So looks like nobody as of recent in 2020, but as latest as, or as soon as 2016, basically. Yeah. I love that. Even if it kills them, right? I love that shit. In memory of timber industry workers, other causes. So we got news articles here. Or maybe I'll zoom out here. So yeah, pause for a moment. Peninsula Daily News. Yeah. Let's get down here. Let's sit here for a moment. Take my hat off as a sign of respect too, you know what I mean? Stand by. Yeah, and again, I'll reiterate that Fort Washington is considered, I don't know if it still is, but at one point it was considered the timber and lumber, logging industry capital of the world. All right. You know, after all, I live in Washington State, the evergreen state, right? And I'm out on the peninsula, not too far from Olympic National Forest. And man, it's beautiful out here, but you gotta be careful. I mean, I'll have to vlog about my near miss with a freaking wildcat, or it was either a wildcat or a wolf. You know, but I didn't stick around long enough to figure it out, right? Figure it out. Yeah, that was on Tuesday evening when I was rucking back from Rialto Beach. You know, I did about 13 miles. Well, I did it over a 6-hour period, but you know, altogether I rucked for about 5 hours in total, according to my stopwatch, you know, so, yeah, so, 1970, wow, man, yeah, pretty rad. Anyways, that's that, so I'll cut this right here. This is the visitor center. which quite honestly I have not been in yet. I already know enough about this area already. So yeah, we got a couple pretty rad trucks parked out here. Check out that Chevy, old school. Kind of reminds me of the man, those old Navy T-shirts back in the day. You know, only those ones had a blue truck rather than one. And then we got another Chev. Yeah, and these, for whatever reason, are parked here all the time. I don't know if, must be something of importance. Either way, let's do a little map study here. Maybe I'll go over real quick. I've already done this in one video already. Let me put my road set up here. So yeah, just to point out real fast. So this is where I'm staying, okay? I'm staying off the Boca Chica River. State park's here, but I got a little spot that I chose down river, all right? But essentially how I got here, real brief, I came from over here is, what I call across the fence. I took the ferry over to Whidbey Island. So Whidbey Island, and then I took the free bus here to Keystone to Port Townsend. I was in Port Townsend for about 2 days, getting my feet wet and getting literally getting my feet wet because I was swimming in the ocean a lot and stuff. And yeah, so I stayed there for about 2 days, and then the night that I left, I got to about here, all right, and I realized it was kind of sketchy at night. You walking down that road, so I just pulled off the side of the road and more or less racked out for about until the morning time, and then left. Stepped off to Discovery Bay. Around here, I had lunch at Fat Smitty's, took a little nap, and you always can be vigilant, keep your head on a swivel and check your gear, right? Because I left there and I didn't realize I didn't have any water left in my Camelback, so I made it to about here, and then this dude very kindly pulled off the side of the road and offered me a ride. I was like, heck yeah, get me to the nearest gas station stat so I can get some Gatorade in me. And yeah, he got me all the way to Sequim. I stayed in Sequim for about a night, and then I discovered that there's a public transportation system. Took the bus, the 30, all the way to Port Angeles. From there, I took the 14, or excuse me, I took the 30, and then I caught the 14. Goes all the way to Lake Crescent. It was pretty rad, super dope lake. And then, it took me all the way to Forks. And I've pretty much been in the area since. Initially I got dropped off at a park across from the state park, which I thought was part of the state park, but apparently it wasn't. Because 2 days later, after being camping there and Labor Day weekend coming up, I imagine this, me walking back from town getting supplies, and then having 3 sheriffs, waiting for you, like, hey, what's going on, buddy? It was just, we worked it out. The head sheriff was a prior service Marine, and it was just a misunderstanding. I didn't know that it was not part of the park, but, either way. So then I set up a spot just downriver initially that weekend, and then as of Labor Day, I set up my own spot, OP Grizzly, if you will, downriver. So that's kind of the basic rundown. Oh yeah, and then I mentioned Rialto Beach. So here's La Push. Rialto Beach is about 3 miles north. Well, no, it's right here. Never mind. And they have a backpacker, camping along that beach. So I stayed there for a couple days. I was trying to help out this recent acquaintance of mine, Chris, who I met in town here in Forks at this little tap room. He was just passing through, doing a little motorcycle trip before he went down to San Diego to visit family. So we kind of vibed off of the fact that he's from San Diego and I was a prior service Marine. And yeah, so I went out there to more or less do a recon mission and see if I could just figure out where his drone had crash landed into. As far as it was about 70 feet up into a tree. So I went out there to try to figure out if I could get eyes on it. And if I could, I was going to plan on climbing up the tree and retrieving it, because he was going to give me like a finder's fee or what have you, like $300 or something like that. And so I was like, yeah, it's worth the time. Plus it'd be a new adventure. And it was so weird. It was so eerie though, because if you guys don't know, over in eastern Washington, on the other side of the state, we got a lot of forest fires going on, which I believe have died down now. But a bunch of smoke traveled over to this area. And so, man, it was so eerie. The way the beach is just like cloud covered. Smog covered and what have you. And it looked like something out of a freaking, I don't know, you ever seen that Stephen King movie, The Mist, you know? It was kind of like that. I felt like some critters were, or even like, what was that? That John Carpenter movie about the ghost ship or whatever. Either way, you know. Anyways, that about wraps it up for now, I think. I think I'll cut it here. So this is the actual timber museum itself, which is closed because of COVID-19, what have you. And I don't think it's going to be open till, well, phase 3 apparently. So, yeah, it'd be kind of cool to check out eventually if it does open. But I'll walk over here. And a nice little chill spot here. Soroptimist? Huh, that's cool. Either way, here's a big ass log. Imagine from back in the day. You can imagine how old this thing was when it was cut down. Yeah. I mean, look at that. I mean, I'm a pretty big dude. I could probably lay through that thing. It's pretty wild, right? Or a small baby could crawl through it and stand up. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Let's see, what does it say? Anything? Does it have a plaque? Well, it just says picnic area. Very well. And then we got this little wizard hut looking thing. You know, I feel like a friggin' hobbit's about to pop out of there or something, right? Yeah, pretty cool, huh? Whoa, okay, this is rad. So, check this out. Look at that. Isn't this amazing? I mean, I've only been through the redwoods maybe once in my life, but this is about the damn closest thing you get to it, you know? Yeah. Gosh, amazing. Can you think, just imagine how old this tree is, or was when it was cut down. Centuries, you know? Since after the dinosaurs, if you will, or I don't know, whatever you believe in science related. Pretty rad. Anyways, that about wraps it up, I guess. I'll cut this together when I get back to my campsite and all that jazz. Battery's getting low, so. Hope you all enjoy this little rundown of, well, portion of Forks at least. Other half of town, it doesn't really have much to it except for just gas stations and, well, there's True Value, Hearthstone. And no, it's a real down-to-earth kind of hometown, if you will, you know? It's kind of what I envision America to be, you know, the kind of America that I defend, you know? So, either way, cut this off now. Again, real briefly, I'd like to point out how it cleared up quite a bit. So we're looking at about 66 degrees out here. And personally, my body has quite adapted to the cold. I mean, it does get cold at night. That's not no big deal, you know. That's just something you got to contend with. And it's not really an issue for me, you know. I embrace the suck personally, so I mean, when things become discomfortable, you know, it doesn't really bother me so much, you know. And especially when you're focused on a goal. So either way, but check out that sun, man. You know, ain't that amazing? Maybe I'll take another clip of two on the way back and show you some cool spots. All right.